Hello and welcome to my class, The Spirituality of Trees. My name is Stephanie C. Weinman. I am a empath, a psychic intuitive, and a intuitive counselor and an intuitive reader. You can find me through my website, which is www.stephaniecweinman.com. I am the owner of Spirit and Sage Healing, which is my business I started about 2.5 years ago. And you could find me on Facebook under Spirit and Sage Healing as well. And of course, you can always find me here in the Lightworkers Lab, where I am a teacher, a reader, and a moderator. So I wanted to really talk to you guys today about the spirituality of trees. For me, I am so connected to trees, and I always have been. Actually, I think you probably just caught me looking outside my window at the biggest tree that I have on the property where I live. It's a big grandfather tree. I feel like it's the center of all of the trees. I have tons of trees on my property. But anyways, this one is right out my front window here, and it always catches my attention, and I'm always looking outside at it. So I'm sorry if you catch me doing that, especially while I'm doing this class. I seem to be very drawn to it. So that may be why I may be glancing outside, because I could just sit outside, sit here and just stare outside at it. So don't mind me there. But anyways, I wanted to talk to you about how we can relate our own spiritual practices and our own spiritual work with the spirituality of trees, because it really does coincide very well. And you'll see after this class what I mean by that, and how much we can learn from the spirituality of trees, and actually how connected we really are with trees. I've always been a nature lover myself, but especially I've always been very connected with trees. I seem to do my best meditating around them as well, which I'm sure many of you can relate with as well. So I do want to start here. I'm going to start with a quote from Joyce Meyer. Consider a tree for a moment. As beautiful as trees are to look at, we don't see what goes on underground as they grow roots. Trees must develop deep roots in order to grow strong and produce their beauty. But we don't see the roots. We just see and enjoy the beauty. In much the same way, what goes on inside of us is like the roots of a tree. It's pretty profound, isn't it? The first time I ever read that quote from Joyce Meyer, it really struck a chord within me. And it really got me thinking, which then in turn turned into this class, Spirituality of Trees. Funny how that works, right? So think about it. We have rowan trees, we have the tree of life, we have a Christmas tree, we have the Bodhi tree. All these trees that are famously spiritual. And you think there must be something to that, right? And what is it about trees that make us all feel so connected? Well, this is very interesting too. Trees tend to be long-lived. And this is from Wikipedia here, the great source of the great beyond, Wikipedia. But trees tend to be long-lived, some reaching several thousand years old. Trees have been in existence for 370 million years, and it is estimated that there are over 3 trillion, trillion with a T, mature trees in the world right now. I can't even wrap my brain around that number, to be honest with you. So when you think about it, I mean, trees kind of have the ability to be somewhat immortal, if trees were mortal, obviously saying. But it seems like they can live forever. And what can we learn from them in this aspect? How can we gain the knowledge of strength and growth that trees are innately prone to? As light workers, we always seem to be drawn to wanting to learn about life and our purpose from our angels and our guides, all of our emissaries, and sometimes even ETs, higher vibration beings. But why not trees? They have an extreme spiritual intelligence that seems to be overlooked. And here I will show you what it is we are missing by overlooking the amazing lessons that stand in front of us every day, just as we step outside of our front doors. And how I'm going to do this with you now is I'm going to go through our chakra system to relate how our human spirituality is connected to trees. So I'm going to start with the root chakra. The root chakra is our first chakra. It is our I am. The roots of a tree is their stability. It's their survival. This system, part of the tree, is their life force. It allows them to grow, and the roots grow with them while receiving nutrition and nourishment from the soil. They soak it all in. It gives them the strength to hold true to their stance, but the flexibility to bend but not break. Think about that. Think about that. Trees, how flexible they are, enough to bend but not to break. So here we can learn how to cultivate our own roots within us with the ability to learn and grow but not to break. And I mean, I know eventually, many trees, eventually, a branch may break. Or sometimes a very old tree in a crazy hurricane or insane windstorm. There does come a point where some trees will fall over or certain branches will break. But generally speaking, trees are so incredibly resilient, and it all has to do with their roots and the purpose that they have to thrive within their roots and to keep growing and evolving. So next I'm going to move on to the sacral chakra. I'm going to take a sip of my water here. Now, the sacral chakra is all about our I feel. And trees actually feel and communicate with one another. They have an elaborate system where if one tree is struggling in a grove of trees, if one tree is unhealthy, all the healthy trees will direct water and nutrients to the struggling tree to help heal it. And with trees, it's all about the collective, which is something that we as light workers deal with every day, don't we? I mean, we're always struggling with that as light workers, just like trees. We can learn from this aspect of trees by always trying to share our light and love to the collective as a whole. To me, this is one of the most amazing lessons that we have to learn from trees, at least for me. That gets very personal there, because I do feel that, especially as light workers, we are always trying to reach out to help others and to help the collective and to change the collective into showing more compassion, more love, more empathy, and to really shining our light. And with that is so connects with trees and how they sustain each other and how they help one another and how they continue to do so, and they have been doing so for millions of years. So that's something that I feel that is very important for us to learn from trees. Next, I'm going to move on to the solar plexus chakra, which is our I do. So trees have their own personalities, just as we do. And that's what the solar plexus is very much all about. It's very much about our creativity and our specific personalities. So there's always, if you think about it, that one tree that is like the grandfather tree, like the tree that I keep looking out here, outside my window here. If you have, any trees or you have a little bit of land, there's always going to be that one tree that seems to be the center, the main energetic force, the grandfather tree of all the trees. And then you're going to have that one tree that's the baby seedling that's just new and starting to grow and is smaller and a little weaker than the others. Or you'll have that one tree that is just beautiful to look at, that you could just sit back and stare at and daydream with. Or even like the weeping willow. There's that weeping willow tree. I remember I grew up with a weeping willow in my front yard. And for me, the weeping willow is the one that provides a shady play area for kids. And it's just it's like a haven of fun, almost like a fort for the kids. And there you have different personalities within the trees. And they all serve their different purposes in our lives and in their own lives as well. So, in a way, they get to share their creative nature in this way. And we can learn how to be authentically ourselves and embrace that to the fullest. Think about that. I find that to be so intriguing. When you really do think about any trees right now that you have anywhere on your property or any trees you drive by. You can see the different personalities that they do have. It's really cool when you put it into perspective like that. So next I'm going to move on to the heart chakra, the fourth chakra, which is the I love. Now, trees love, period. Trees love enough to give us oxygen to breathe. They give us shelter from the sun. They give homes to birds and animals. They even give homes to us. Trees give everything they have, and it is literally in their nature to love and protect unconditionally. No matter who, what, where, or when, you will always have a tree to help you survive. That is the ultimate form of unconditional love. Next, I am moving on to the throat chakra, which is our I speak. Trees speak to us in so many different ways. The rustling of their leaves in the breeze, which is one of my favorite sounds that can really put me into a meditative state in an instant, honestly. I always spend time outside in the summer. I'll go on my back deck and just sit on my back deck or just in the backyard in the grass, and that's where I'll meditate most of the time. Because the spring, actually from the spring through the fall, is as long as it's warm enough and I won't get hypothermia, I'll spend as much time as possible out there and I will meditate there. The changing of their colors every autumn speaks to us of enjoying all the beauty that there is around us. The leaves falling speaks to us about how powerful it is to let go and to move on to create room for all the new wonderful things to come. Their bare branches in the winter speak to us about resilience and weathering through any storm with their sheer will and strength. And their budding leaves and flowers come spring speak to us of new beginnings, faith in rebirth and new things to come. And then in the summer, we see how trees soak up the brilliant sun and the nourishing rain. And through it all, they take the good with the bad and they still thrive. Here we can take away so many lessons of what it means to share our messages all day, every day, and how it affects those that are around us. Because even when we're not trying to, we will affect everyone and everything, even if it's with our energy and not with our words. Next, I'm moving on to the third eye chakra. Good old third eye. Third eye is our I see. Trees have taught me so much about the act of just being. I meditate best, like I said, when I'm outside in my backyard, when I'm among my trees and I'm just sitting out back. And this is where I see everything that I cannot with my eyes open when I'm meditating and when I'm outside and I'm connected with the trees. This is where I get to see the bigger picture. This is where I see everything. So it's where I can connect with all that is divine and feel everything that is around me. and smell all that is glorious in the world. When I'm outside, walking around on a trail in the woods, I almost feel that I can communicate with them in this way. It's just being able to open up enough to take in their energy. And I can almost sometimes even see their energy grids and how they all connect with each other and how they connect with me. I literally can see that at times, especially when I'm meditating. And I can see it with my eyes open or my eyes closed. But excuse me, there's a definite energy grid that connects the trees. And then once I really immerse myself into their energy, I become part of their energy grid as well. It's amazing, and it's amazing energy to feel. You should definitely try it. And I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that, but it really is an incredible connection. And it's an incredible thing to feel. And once you feel it once, it's easy to get back into. So I highly suggest trying to connect with trees during your meditation at least once, because I promise you will never not want to do it again. Okay, so from there we move on to the crown chakra. And with the crown chakra, that is our I understand. So for me, when I look up at the tops of the trees, I think about how their energy flows up into the ether and how they receive transmissions and energy in return. They are always growing and evolving in every sense of the word. They are more connected than I could ever hope to be, at least at this point. I'm hoping I get there someday, but as of right now, it's like a whole nother dimension, honestly. So here I take in the awesome connection they have with Mother Earth, with Gaia, and the celestial sky and the higher self. It's almost as if they are so grounded, but also channeling the information of the universe all at the same time. It's that perfect balance that we all strive for in our everyday life and in our spiritual work. So there it is, all that is beautiful and wondrous with the nature of the trees around us. It's really very simple when you break it down. It's just us having to open our eyes and our hearts to learning everything we can from every resource, even the most unexpected ones. And we can do this by just going out into nature, walking amongst the trees, taking a nice walk on a path, on a nature path, or going for a hike. We can also do this by doing tree meditations. You can go onto YouTube and you can find all kinds of meditations. Seriously, type in tree meditations. You'll get so many wonderful resources there. I do those often and I absolutely love tree meditations. Also, just being with a tree. Literally just kind of sitting down at the base of a tree, leaning your back against it, and just relaxing, just being with the tree. You get so much energy from it. You can also be a bit of a hippie, a tree hugger, and literally hug a tree. There's nothing wrong with that. I've done that quite a few times myself. So I know quite a few people who do that as well. Hug a tree. It's amazing. Also, plant a tree. Give back. Be part of that evolution and of the beginning of life. Plant a tree. You can also help by trimming a tree. And I'm not talking about trimming a tree where it comes to decorating a Christmas tree, although I love that too. Absolutely do. But when I talk about trimming a tree, I'm talking about taking care of a tree. There's plenty of trees out there that are sick or could use a little tender care, use a little upkeep. Just kind of keeping your eyes open for that. Or if there's a specific trail that you hike through and you notice that there's one tree that could use a little extra attention, do that, to give that attention to the tree. That'll really connect you. And celebrate trees not just during the holidays, like Christmas, but all year through. All year through, appreciate everything that we are given and everything that they give to us. Really be grateful for that and really try to soak it in. So when we're looking for divine inspiration, we don't just have to look up to the heavens or to the magical elements, but we can literally look out our window to really tap into all the natural magic that is innate in all of us. So that is my Spirituality of Trees class. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Every time I give this class, I get such an amazing rush of energy. I love talking about this. I love sharing this information. So please let me know what you think about this. Let me know if this resonated with you. And let me know any other ideas you have of ways that we can connect with trees in general and with everything that they have to give to us. So thank you again for joining me, and I'm sure I will be seeing you soon. Have a great night.